women who all have their own tiny house, and we have shared space, and we help each other age. That to me would be great, because I want to have my own space. I don't want to be living like a lot of people. So I'm calling it the Golden Girls 2025 version of making it work, figuring out how I'm going to make it work for myself. And so I am hoping that this space can become a space to start that conversation. So I invite any of you who are listening and looking in. We're not here to criticize why I didn't do what everybody else did. I just made choices that were for me, and it's good. And I continue to support people that make choices for themselves as well. But let's start a conversation in the comments here about what's your plan. I look like I'm rich. I got rich friends. I'm just at their house. This is not my shit. Trust me. I just have very generous friends who let me stay at their house when they travel. Anyway, I got to put a plan together, and a tiny house community has always been something I've been thinking about. I don't want to live anywhere cold. There's a lot that comes with doing that, but what's your plan? What's your plan if you're like me, aging, got no family, no kids, not sure what you want to do? Tell me in the comments what you're going to do, and let's see if we can't find some way to get the conversation growing and maybe help each other out, because I think together we can make it happen. I am getting tired of hanging from the branch by myself, and I am ready to start creating a community of women, like-minded women, who still want to live, still want to work hard, play hard, and make shit happen. So put down what you're thinking in the comments, and let's get the conversation going. Peace out. Love you.
She's 63 years old. She says she's about to be 63 in January. Someone said, yes, build a lovely community for female retirees. I'm a nurse. We can have our own free clinics and shops. First, let me say this, nurses freaking rock. I agree. 30 years ago, I used to joke about my own retirement island and how everybody was going to have a skilled to get on the island. It's looking more and more like that fantasy is playing out in ways I never dreamed possible. I actually plan on buying land and building tiny homes on it myself to start this community garden, community, lots of things. I own my home and plan on retiring it out in a few years when I buy my land. Another woman says, I think this is a fabulous idea. Going to be 68 next month. No husband, no kids. I have my dogs, no plan, just taking it the day as it comes. I would love to find a situation like this. She responds, stick around, sister. I don't know what's going to happen, but clearly we've got momentum. Someone says, I'm of the age and looking for exactly this type of community, except in the Pacific Northwest. That's like a perfect place, really. That kind of living is very common in the Pacific Northwest. I see people from Tiny Tranquility just opened up a second location called Redwoods in California. If you've heard of anything about that one, or a new one. Like a lot of amazing women commenting here, single, no kids, and thinking of my next chapter, self-sufficient, but seriously, who wants to be strong, self-sufficient one all the time? I'd love for a community like this. I live in Florida for a year. I live in Florida for the year-round sunny blue skies, definitely not the politics. This is great. I'm on the same plan. I'm working on aligning my life with ladies living alone, Golden Girls movement in California. That's what a lot of women are doing. I think I would love to see Black women doing that. I see white women doing that, moving in together, raising their children together. In this case, these women don't have children. So having a community that is all women, to, live in community, feel safe in said community. I wouldn't even like a tiny home, situation, even a quote unquote trailer park, just all women with a community. Like I wouldn't, to me, I feel like that's not a bad idea, because then you can have your own space and still be in community, knowing that there are just women outside, right? And, and possibly some of their children. Um, but yeah, it would definitely have to be a community where they're like men are not allowed. They can't live on the property. Um, if they want to spend the night, but living on the property, getting mail there, no. Mm-mm. No men are allowed. Is that discrimination? You'll live. You'll live. You'll be fine. Trust me. I think more women, the Golden Girls idea, I think it's beautiful. The living single idea, I think it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful, and I think it's more resourceful. I think when women combine their resources, they can thrive. And that's just how I feel about it. I think it's a great idea. I'm 50. I can't believe I'm 50, y'all. That shit is crazy to me. When I think about like the actual number 50, and mm, I think it's really weird. It's a little strange to me because the age and the feeling is different. I don't know how you're supposed to feel at 50 years old, but I don't I don't feel like how I would imagine. I don't know what you're supposed to feel what you're supposed to feel like. So, but I would love that, but not in this country. I could not do that in this country. I could do it in a different country all day long. A community in Southeast Asia, a community in Latin America. I'm down with that shit. I'm so down with that shit. Have a little garden, a community garden in the middle, have a little some plants of reefer, cultivate, have the good, like, and like she said, like everybody have some type of skill set. But women are so skillful and resourceful anyway. I think it's hard pressed to find a woman with no skills. I don't, yeah, I think everybody has something that they can do to contribute um, to contribute to the community. But I think it's a wonderful idea, and I think more women who are childless, older. I think the Golden Girls is like literally the best thing. I think that idea is just the best thing. And you have to be mindful that the women are not male centered. They're not trying to move in their homosexual boyfriend, none of that stuff. Like either a tiny house community, a quote trailer park community. There's a trailer park community that got leveled in the California fires, in the Southern California fires this past in the beginning of the year. Oh, it's December 1st. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to the Sagittarius girl. Shout out to the Sagittarius. But there was a mobile, like a trailer park community in Malibu, that got burned, that got leveled. And those people had been living there for years and got those spaces next to the beach, a trailer park next to the beach. See, some people will be like, "Oh, you're in a trailer park." No. If you see some of these trailer parks, like I said, there's a trailer park by me that's really nice. It's like a gated, like you have to do the buttons to get into. It's a gated trailer park community. Can you imagine like in Mexico or in Thailand or in Costa Rica or in, like, Latin America, anywhere in Latin America really, and then in Panama, like a little tiny home community or trailer park community. I think it's perfect for women, especially older women, because and it's so funny. And I think about my mom, and she lived in a little quaint home, like bungalow. And I used to always be like, why don't you want a house? Why don't you want a house? And she could, I don't think she could, I don't know if she was equipped to verbalize, like, I don't want to be responsible for the upkeep of a home. I don't want to do that. So I don't care about owning a home. I wish she was able to verbalize, like, for me, this space is good for me. I love this space. This is good for me. I'm a single person. This space is perfect for me. I don't have to pay any extra bills because I don't own this place. I don't care to own it. I don't want to own it. I don't care. Like, I wish she was able to say, like, you'll see, like, if before you have kids or whatever, you are going to be fine with having your own space, but not being responsible for the maintenance and the upkeep of the place, right? Let somebody else be responsible for that. And I feel like as you get older, you become more like that. Like, I don't want to be doing housework. That, like, the most thing I want to do is gardening, right? And your upkeep of your home. But like maintenance and stuff like that, I want to be able to call a man to do the work, right? When people, oh, you need a man around. I just, if I need something for a man to do, I'm gonna call a man and pay him for his service, and then he can leave. He doesn't need to be there for him to every day for him to change a light bulb. Here it is. Now go. Now leave. So I'm all for that. I think it's a good idea for older women, even for younger women, to like build a community. That, like, they're building a lot of tiny home communities all over the country. Some that are owned by Black developers, white developers, women developers. Everybody, there are tiny home communities popping up everywhere. And I think one of the things that in America, the more stuff you have, like the ultra consumerism really taints the idea, right? For me, I was like, why don't you have a home? Why don't you want to buy a home? And from her perspective, it's like, I don't want to have all of these extra duties. I'm a older woman. I don't want to be, fixing shit around the house. I can just pay somebody or have the landlord or manager, building manager, you know, call somebody to get and straighten out for me. I don't want to have to worry about none of this stuff. Um, I think when women get older, I feel like that's like the best thing for them. And for tiny homes, it's like in America, especially, it's like we live in a system in America where you are judged on how much you have and what you have. That's why we see garages all over the country that are packed with just stuff, and just stuff to show that you have the capital to buy all this stuff that you use once or twice, and now it's in your garage in a box, instead of donating it or getting or moving it out of your space, just keeping all this stuff so it can look like you have something. So when the idea of a tiny home comes into place, it's like, why are you in such a small home? Why do you live your life as a minimalist? Why do you live by a no waste principle? Why are you donating all your clothes? Why do you only have 10 pairs of pants and 10 shirts? Like, why do you not have so much? And then them equating you not having so much with you being poor. When you look at the people who live in tiny homes, broke they're not broke people that need to just live in a small home. No, they are whittling down all their stuff because they don't want to be over consumed with all this stuff. I love to watch people who give you the no waste principles, how to get rid of stuff in your home, how to declutter, how to keep your home like in a minimalist state, how to only keep, like, there's stuff that I see that I'm like, I don't need this, and throw it away. Or I have a bag that I keep for, like, as I go through stuff, which I'm about to do again, and donate some clothes because I was looking at a lot of my winter, because I brought out like my sweat shirts and my sweatpants and stuff like that. And I was like, I feel like I have too many pairs of sweatpants. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I have too many sweatshirts. And like I have like a few hoodies and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't need that many hoodies. You know what I'm saying? That's where I am with it. So I love to hear that women are, considering living together or living within a community. I think it's a great idea. I'm down for that, but not in the United States. Girl, no, thank you. Anything outside of the United States, holla at your girl. I'm down for that. My single child free friends and I have this same conversation. We need to live somewhere that has access to healthcare nearby, so not out in a very rural area. Yeah, with the current healthcare crisis, there's going to be that's going on, and rural hospitals are being shut down too. They're squeezing us out. This is literally my fantasy now. I'm in my mid 30s. I'm 67 and I've had all of that. I'm now a widow looking to live a life outside my adult children. My friends have their husband, and that gets old for me. I've been a widow for 9 years. I like living by myself. This is a white woman. My friends and I have the same dream for a long time. We call it Old Ho Ranch. Individual homes, all one level in an S circle connected by a walkway, and the middle had a lovely gathering space with a fire pit. She said, I'm a old ho. Can I come too? I love to live in community with other women, but it would have to be affordable for me. I'm also a bit of a loner and pr- prize my time on my own. Great idea. Where do I apply? We're not there yet, but stick around. I got a big mouth and a good way. I just don't know how I'm going to use it. Let's do it. I'm in. I've been thinking about this thing for the last 12 years. So I love it. I started following her. I love to follow the older women to see what they're talking about. You know what I'm saying? So let's see what's going on the neighborhood talk.
I sponsor the now. I sponsor the blog.
So go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know that you stopped by. Girl, I don't know what's going on. There's a woman who came out that said she is Lotto's estranged half sister. And I'm like, so who's the parent that y'all have in common? She's totally trolling because they do look alike, but you can tell she's being sarcastic. Yeah, she's saying that she's Lotto's sister. That's why I'm like, well, who's the parent that y'all share? It says American billionaire makes interesting tweet about Donald Trump. Just spent the evening with Trump. His stamina is unbelievable for any age. Just spent an evening with Trump at Mar-a-Lago. His stamina, in all caps, is unbelievable for any age. Somebody said he got cracked. Somebody said not the Scientologist. Trump just giving it out. What the hell? Girl, throw your wham in a circle, even if it's little, make it jump like a hurdle. Not his stamina. Jesus Christ, America. Someone said capitalized stamina lets me know everything I need to know. This is the craziest administration of all time. Just out here laying it low and spreading it wide. They're trying to get ahead of the media reports that Trump has health issues. That's what I think they're doing. Trump is medically sick and they're trying to hide it, especially how he bad talked Biden. Put Bubba on the phone now. He's cheating. It's the fact that you even need to say this. That lets us know you're lying while you are. Throw this. Our queen is never beating the allegations. Rainbow flag. All right, let's see. 19 hours ago, the broke ones usually insecure. The rich ones try to control you, but you're not going to give them up. So what the fuck are you going to do? Cash Doll. I thought Cash Doll was back with her man. She said the broke ones are usually insecure. The rich ones try to control you. Trying to control someone is a level of insecurity as well. But the fact of the matter is, y'all make all of these astute observations about the way men show up in society, but you still want to partner with them.
Who are these niggas?
That is what confuses me. That's why I say it's the girls like this. They have their hands behind their back. They have their hands behind their back with their fingers crossed. These niggas ain't shit. These niggas are controlling. These niggas are insecure. These dusty, rusty, musty ass niggas. I hope they get it together though, because I want one. I want to be able to take a dick out my fucking crossbody and throw it at a bitch. At least you don't have a man. At least you don't have a man. At least you don't have a man. That's what y'all want to do. Y'all want to be able to throw a dick at somebody. It says, this is odd. Blink twice if you need help, sister. And this is Kevin Gates having a conversation with this young woman who was also fucking around with the game. So you know where her mind is and what kind of nigga she likes. She likes these niggas that are old as fuck but have juvenile mindsets. The game has a juvenile mindset. Kevin Gates has a juvenile mindset. When a man cannot think above his belt, He has a juvenile mindset. He's stuck in survival mode. He wants to control other women. Get away from him. Where all he is discussing is money and getting bitches, and that if that's all he's discussing, he hasn't ascended into his higher chakras to vibrate on a different level, and he's just vibrating below the belt. Get his ass out of here. Now listen to this conversation between Kevin Gates and this young woman who he called a young hoe. Don't nobody want no old hoe. We want young hoes. So I want you to hear this conversation this old predator is having with this young hoe.
Who the first person ever tell you, hey, you're gifted? Before we ever had a conversation, I'm like, you gifted. I say, you got the same aura as me. You got that same glow. I know you gifted. You can't
It
get.
should be like so loud in my head. Like, okay, for example, remember when we were in Billings, Montana?
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, when you came back to the room, I was like, how was the gym?
The first person ever tell you, hey, you're gifted. Before we ever had a conversation, I'm like, you gifted. I say, you got the same aura as me. You got the same glow. I know you gifted. You can't
It
get.
should be like so loud in my head. Like, okay, for example, remember when we were in Billings, Montana?
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, when you came back to the room, I was like, how was the gym?
Who the first person?
Did you hear that conversation? First of all, who's recording them? Number one, do they just have the camera set up? And he's like, I told you you were, did he say a genius or gifted? You have the same aura as me. That's impossible. That's one. That's how you know they don't know. You can tell that to a person who's studied, who has been on any kind of spiritual journey. We don't have the same aura, sir, at all. That's one. Didn't I tell you had the same aura as me, trying to get you to feel like you're connected to him in some way? Just another way to emotionally manipulate you into feeling like you are connected. You're on the same level. You're not. There is a severe power dynamic, uh, imbalanced power dynamic happening. And then she goes on to say, yeah, because it's just stuff that goes on in my head. Remember the time you came back and I was like, how was the gym? Now, I don't know if she's saying maybe she's gifted and she knows where he was and he didn't tell her where he was. And maybe that's what's missing. But then he just stayed quiet after that. And there was no flow of conversation. That's why they are in relationships with young women, because they don't have to have good conversation. They give you some dick. You call them daddy. They start controlling you. Then you get tired of it and go on to the next nigga that's going to treat you the same exact way. And these particular women that look a certain way, we used to call them preferences until we realized that the preferences aren't getting preferential treatment. Them calling them preferences is a way to triangulate you with other women and you to be mad because he prefers them and doesn't prefer us. But a preferred gets preferential treatment. And these women are getting dragged through the town where the gravel, rocks, and glass is on the ground, getting dragged all the way downtown, like James Brown in the boogie down. And then expecting some type of treatment. That's why you hear all the time, oh, she's so pretty. How could she let him treat her like that? That's why she's letting him treat her like that, because she's been told you can get any man you want, you can get any boy you want, you're so pretty. But the treatment that they get is not different from the treatment of the women they don't prefer. And then when they cheat on the woman that they prefer, they cheat on them with a woman who is outside of what you would call a preference. So we don't call them preferences anymore, but you have a certain look about you. And so you've been told some things your whole life, but you have to have a higher respect for yourself. And somebody needs to go get their niece out from under Kevin Gates, because ill. And then some of the comments was like, look at him speaking positivity into his daughter. I love black fathers. The grass is never greener on the other side. And I said, hell, I said, the grass is astroturf on the other side. I just noticed I see Kevin with a new girl every 2 months, but never his kids. She don't know what he's talking about, and he don't know what she's talking about. He talks too much for me. Shut up sometimes. Gates is grooming her right before our eyes. When you ask older men what do they have in common with younger women, what kind of conversations do you have? This is the conversation. He has a real serious God complex. It's wild as fuck. I blame the public and people who stood behind him. Are they even having the same conversation? She's talking about the gym. He's talking about being gifted. Hell, I'm confused as he looks. The awkward silence was very loud. She don't like him for real. Fellas, please stay in your daughter's life, because dog, it don't matter. You got India Love down there talking about women without fathers don't make good girlfriends. Girl, you had a father, and the game was still had his fingers up your pussy in the park somewhere and was way older than you. How come your father didn't stop that? India Love, you was just on the internet bigging up DDG. You definitely ain't a girl's girl. You come from a 2-parent home. And the people are dragging India Love for saying that women without fathers don't make good girlfriends. Girl, male-centered women do not make good girlfriends. That's guaranteed, because they're always in competition with you, because their prize is just over there. A pick-me, you can't be friends with pick-me's. That's when a male-centered woman, and that's when you're like, oh my God, that's all you guys want to do is talk about men and stuff like that. They don't make good girlfriends. Male-centered women do not make good girlfriends unless you're all male-centered. And if you're all male-centered, you're competing in some sort of way for male validation, male attention, male approval, being desirable to the man. You're all in a competition, right? Y'all all be at the club smiling in the camera, but y'all are all male-centered pick-me's who are competing for male validation from men in proximity. So you're going to be in competition with each other. There's not a real deep, true friendship there. And when a man is in proximity, there is no sisterhood. There is no sisterhood. And then they can say, oh, she's not a girl's girl, like they were talking about Summer Walker not being a girl's girl. Neither is the man, neither is the Tory. Neither is Tory. She's not a girl's girl either. And like I say, whenever there's a dick in proximity, there are no girls, especially if they're pick-me's. There's no girls. We're not girls. There's a man around, girl. We trying to get this man's attention. We trying to get his approval. We trying to get him to laugh at our jokes. We trying to get him to look at us 1 second too long. We're trying, girl. That's what the girls are doing. But it's sad to see this young girl like looking down. He's laying in her lap and she's looking at him, and they're just having the weirdest conversation. That's what I said. I can't even imagine having a conversation with Nick Cannon, Ray J, The Game, Kevin Gates. What are y'all talking about? Shannon Sharp, what are y'all talking about? Chad Ochocinco. What are y'all talking about with these men? They can talk ad nauseum about how to get over on women, how to get past women, how to cheat, and how to practice gender roles in a relationship, how to suppress women, how to get women to bow down or whatever the fuck. They can do all that talking, but in a conversation with women, how do you have a conversation with a man who you know does not respect women? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Okay, let's see what else is going on. Yeah, this is the thing. Ray J's mother claps back at a social media user claiming she raised a terrible son after he was arrested for pointing a gun at Princess Love. The apple don't fall too far from the tree. She said that she doesn't agree that her son is a terrible son. He might not be a terrible son, but he's a terrible husband. He's a terrible brother. He's a terrible uncle. Maybe that's what she, them motherfuckers play on words. Maybe he learned that shit from his mother. Maybe she's like, oh, I don't think he's a terrible son. I think he's a great son. He might not be a good father. He may not be a good partner in a romantic relationship. He may not be a good mother, but he's a good son. That's my son. I actually despise women like that who put their sons over their daughters and like praise and worship their sons and think their sons can do no wrong. Meanwhile, their sons are literally online pulling guns on people and terrorizing people. It's like, no, my son is great. I don't think nothing is wrong with my son. Ew. That's so gross to me. I think it's absolutely disgusting. Some of the comments say, hold on, let me read some of the comments. Parenting doesn't stop at 18. Some adults just need their parents to finish raising them. There are some internal issues that only his parents can fix. That man is 6 years from being 50. Again, more excuses. Shout out to Make It Make Sense. He says she might have raised him right, but wait, hell no. Nah. He was hanging at Death Row Records at 13 years old. His parents were a part of the problem. Ray J was in the club. He wasn't even 21. He was in the club. We used to see Ray J in the club all the time with him and his little entourage, wearing a wife beater, looking hot all the time, wearing a wife beater with a little boxing glove around his neck. Ray J is like 45. Please leave his mama alone. He's responsible for his own actions. Mothers will enable their sons. Mothers will enable their sons. Mothers will lie for their sons if they're cheating. They will act like the so-called girlfriend. Oh, da, 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 laughing and smiling in her face, doing the same laughter and smile in the side chick's face. Girl. And your mother's a pick-me. She's going to be a pick-me for her son because she worships men. Parents should not be blamed for a 44-year-old grown man's decision. Enabling your kids, even when they're grown, is why they act the way they do. Why are parents being blamed for their adult sons' decisions? Mr. and Mrs. Norwood raised them children very well. Ray J is grown and chooses to make his decisions he makes. Just because they live in a 2-story home in a suburb doesn't mean, you know how much shit goes on in 2-story homes in the suburbs? And you think, oh my God, look at this family. They were raised so well. They're not raised well when you're making a daughter lie about having a child out of wedlock and the other one is making sex tapes. That's not good. I guarantee you that was her mother's idea to lie about her. And does Brandy have a book? Has she ever talked about lying about that and how her mother made her lie about that, or her parents? Somebody made her lie about that. That's not something she came up on her own. Like, I'm just going to tell everybody that I'm married to this guy. Girl, no, you're not. And what is the big deal? What image are you trying to uphold? Right? You weren't supposed to be like Monica. Right? You're Brandy. You're not like the little hood chick who can sing, little Monica Arnold or whatever her last name is this week. You're supposed to be the clean cut girl, right? Like Britney and Christina, like Prince and Michael Jackson. There's always the other side of the prim and proper, yeah. So with Monica and Brandy is the one that's like, oh, I have both my parents. I come from a 2-parent home in the suburbs and we're just so great. And blah, blah, blah. So you got to keep up that image. Don't be like the little hood rat from Atlanta, the little hood rat who can sing with the grandma's church shoes on, sitting on a curb. Shout out to Monica. Monica's ass can sing. Never meant to cause you no pain. Well. I just want to go back to being the same. Cause I never want to make things right before you walk out of my life. Is that how the song goes? I just started singing, honey. I don't even remember the words. There's a woman who says she dislikes men who only spend money on her when they're in her presence. He wants to pick me up and take me to dinner. Just send me the money and leave me alone. No, my dear. That's like, if you hear your niece saying stuff like this, I want you to hear what she says. And if I'm her big cousin or her auntie, this is what I'm going to tell her. But listen to what she says first. So this is a young black woman saying that she doesn't like when a man only wants to spend money on her when he's around. He doesn't just send her money. So here she goes.
And don't bother me. I don't like men that spend money on me and don't bother me. I don't like men that only spend money on me when they're in my presence. This guy just called me and asked me what I was doing tonight, if I wanted to go out. I don't have an issue with going out tonight. I'm dressed. I'm about to go out with my friends. My issue is he's only gonna spend money on me if he's there. Because he's always just trying to he's always like, are you hungry? Do you need anything? All this stuff. But if I ever say I'm hungry, he wants to pick me up and take me to dinner. Just send me the money. And it's the same thing for tonight. And I know that if he was to come, he would pay for everything and he'd make sure all my friends got home safe and he'd drive us everything. Even the guy that we're going out with, he would take care of him. But it's like, just send me the money and leave me alone. Like men that spend money.
This is my advice. Women need to understand that men are socialized to operate from a transactional mindset. If they're giving you money, they want something in return. My father always told me that when a man does something for you, he expects something back, often access to your body. Be glad if he only wants your time for now, but he's building up favors so that when he finally asks, he'll expect your body in return. No man gives you money without expecting something back, unless they have that fetish where they like to give women money just for nothing because they ask for it. There is a fetish. Y'all need to find the men who will give you money. What is it called? Like a financial dominatrix. You beat them and beat them up, pinch their nipples, and they'll give you money. But again, you're doing something for them. They like to be degraded and talk too crazy. So there is a service happening and he's giving you money in return for that. It's almost like you didn't do anything because you're not giving out your body. A lot of sex workers don't even have sex. Sometimes they're just laying with the man, they like therapists to the man, giving a massage. They don't even want to have sex. There's a lot of sex workers that will tell you that. But there are no men. Men are not socialized to just give you money and not expect anything in return. That's why I think it's very risky to try to trick men out of their money, because they will kill you. Simple as that. Just speak plainly. No man is going to do anything for you without expecting something in return. They're only doing it for you because they want something in return. And a lot of the times it's your body in return. You wanting a man just to send you money because he wants to do something nice for you, and you haven't even had any type of sex or anything like that, that's going to be a very, very rare occurrence, to where this man is just sending you money and you haven't ever laid with him. I'm sorry to break it to you, and it sounds awful, and I hate to sound ridiculous, but yeah, no man is giving you money is doing anything for you. Not just giving you money, doing anything for you without expecting something in return. If they pump your gas, they're going to want your telephone number. The only time you see a man not really wanting anything from a woman is when he opens a door for her. And he might just want to thank you. And even the thank you kind of will like make them feel like, ooh, does she like me? That thank you was real friendly. Because for them, the only reason why they're being nice to you is because they want that coochie, girl. They want that coochie. That's the only reason why men are nice to women. It sounds sad and fucked up, but that's why when you are nice to them, they translate it as, oh, she wants to get with me, because that would be the only reason why I would be nice to her, is because I want to get with her. So obviously she's being nice to me because she wants to get with me. And that's why they follow you around the club after you just accept one drink, because they want something in return. And sometimes time spent is not enough. And that's real talk. I'm going to read a couple more comments. No, I get it. They just be in your face the whole time and expect sex or whatever from you just because they're pursuing you. This generation loves to relabel prostitution. And I basically said anything you do with a man is, you can call it prostitution. Prostitution just doesn't mean sex. It means that you are providing a service in exchange for money. It doesn't mean just sex. A lot of sex workers are not, they will tell you they have clients that they don't have sex with at all. It's more of a massage, talking, maybe a little affection, laying in the bed next to somebody and just doing the pillow talk thing. Let me talk to my son about women like this. No, talk to your son and tell him that don't do nice things for women if you're expecting something in return. That's what you need to teach your sons. If just because, don't start being nice and doing things for a girl because you want something in return. If you're doing something for somebody, you should not, if it's coming from a true place, you should not expect anything in return, because you're not doing it for a transaction. You're doing it because you want to. You're doing it out of the kindness of your heart. You're doing it because you feel compelled to, or whatever, right? It's okay to feel like this, but the problem is saying it out loud. They're going to leave you alone after this video with no money sent. Y'all are so draining. It's annoying. Let this be a lesson. Fellas, date women who actually like you. But men understand that a woman just liking you, they want to know that you have some money, right? Usually the cute ones can get off with just saying, I like you, right? How about spend your own money and leave him alone? I hope all this is fixed by the time my son gets older, please. It's his money, so he can move how he wants. She don't like him the way she's doing him like that. How is she strong and broke? Audacity is at an all-time high. Say what, child? I really hate these kind of reels because what? No, okay, I already read that. Already read that. Why is it just going in a circle? I don't know. I kind of get what she's saying. Like, do a man always have to be in your presence in order for him to spoil you? At this rate, there won't be respectable women left to date by the time my son gets old enough to date. What if your son is gay, so you don't have nothing to worry about? You assuming that your son is going to grow up and be with a woman is crazy as hell, especially in 2025. The crazy part is, let me shut up. I don't want to go there with that because y'all might be triggered by that. Y'all be having plans for your children and don't even know. Y'all be having marriages planned for your children, weddings planned for your children, children planned for your children. And I remember somebody I know, they found out their son was gay and they were really upset because they want grandchildren, as if his sperm doesn't work in order to get somebody pregnant and to have a baby. Men, if a man does something for you, it's very rare. Typically in a platonic relationship with a man, that a man will do something for his friend and not expect anything in return. You have to be careful because male friends will often use you as unpaid labor, come to you for for ideas and stuff like that. There's ways that men just want to get labor from a woman in some way. I remember I had friends that would call me and be like, "Hey," and they would run ideas, by me, and I would help them. I have really great ideas, so I would help them with their ideas and give them notes. And I'm like, and after a while, I started thinking I should send that motherfucker an invoice because basically I just did some consulting and helped you come up with a concept and an idea, and you didn't give me any money for that. I just really gave you an idea for free. Only labor I'm doing for a motherfuckers is if you pay me. I'm not doing no labor for free. Especially when the niggas get in the comments and be like, you need to show me proof of such and such and such and such. You just gaslight in the situation. I'm not going to show you proof so you can deny the proof and say that it's white man's proof or whatever the fuck you want to say to dismiss it. Unless you pay me, then I will pay me for my time doing the research and finding the article or the review or the source of information to send you the link. I need some money. You want a link to a study that you can find by Googling? I want $25 for that. because you want me to do something for you, right? Because if you do something for me, you're going to expect something in return. So if I do something for you, I want money in return. Fair exchange, no robbery, period. I can't believe I've been talking for 48 minutes. This makes absolutely no goddamn sense whatsoever. That shit is crazy as hell. Okay, let's do one more story and then we go. It says Clay Thompson named his boat SS Stallion after his girlfriend Megan the Stallion. Well, what was the boat named before? Was it after the other girlfriend? Is that a gesture he does for his girlfriends? Because it's so easy to change the name of a boat, to paint over a name of the boat. What was the name before? Does he name all his boats after his girlfriends? That's what I need to know. I have questions. I'm sorry. I have questions. Y'all be so quick and easily impressed by gestures that can be altered. What was the name before? Was it the other girlfriend's name, nickname? You know, the people in the comment, that's so cute. He named his boat after Megan the Stallion, but I want to know what the boat's name was before. Because if it had anything to do with the other person he was with, to me, that's a fake gesture to show some type of, I like you, I'm naming my boat after you. What was the boat's name before it was SS Stallion? That's what I want to know. Everybody in the comments are excited. I know that's fucking right. Him and his family may be helping her heal. They seem so peaceful and unproblematic. I smell a wedding and a baby on the way.
Yeah.
Why would you wish that on her? I really don't understand the marriage concept. I don't understand legally attaching yourself to another adult. I don't get it. And I don't get that a woman just can't be in a relationship with a man without other women saying, "Oh, get married. Oh, have a baby." I smell a baby and a wedding on the way. I love this for my good sis. And we're back to the fantastical world of delusions and this princess syndrome where it's like, oh my God, she's living out her fantasy. Ah, that heartbreak gonna scar him for life. Megan better not fuck this up. If anybody would be him fucking it up, he's not the fucking prize. Wedding is definitely happening in the near future. The fuck y'all don't get it? That's her man, her baby, her baby. I love Meg to pieces and I'm happy for her, but is every little thing they do going to be posted? Seems like it just be setups to get her dragged. The crazy part is we just had an article about women not posting their husbands and boyfriends because they're embarrassing and they don't want to be embarrassed by showing all of this time with this person and then the person wind up embarrassing them. That's why a lot of women don't post their boyfriends and things like that. So I think a lot of people think what she's like, the posting and showing and the different, that is kind of corny because a lot of women are out of that phase, but there will always be a gaggle of women who are going to be like, oh, this is, this is great, this is lovely, I know, that's right, girl, get that man, and get married to that man and all this other stuff. PR relationship, I really hope they get married and have babies. Why? Praying for Clay and his family that they're able to maintain their peace and structure in exchange bring Megan peace to Megan's life as well. I love this for her, all of it. They're probably already married. So happy for my girl. Ooh, the ring is coming next. Hope they get married. When I tell you, I don't know. I don't get it. I honestly don't get. I honestly truly don't understand it. I don't understand the desire. I don't. See, I wasn't a pick me. I was more male identified, right? I would see a man's point of view before I'd see the woman's point of view. You understand? I'd give the man the benefit of the doubt. I was more male identified than a pick me. Like I tried to maintain friendships with men instead of trying to be like and romantically involved with them, right? I was like, I liked having male friends. You understand what I'm saying? That was like because I was male identified, but it wasn't a pick me. I didn't want to be picked by these weirdos, because I would even tell my friends, break up with him, Girl, that's stupid. Don't deal with that. Don't deal with that foolishness. Don't deal with that foolishness. And you will even find yourself, I don't know what this is, but you will even find yourself acting like you care about the dude to the point where you're like putting on a whole display to make it feel like, oh, she's in love with me. And you really be like, after you get off the phone, you do a lot of hooping and hollering and crying and shit. And then when you hang up the phone, you're just right back to your normal life and self. You're not really phased by him, but you gave the impression that you were. Have you ever done that? I have. Being on the phone, acting like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Why is this happening? And then when I get off the phone, I call the next nigga and be like, what's up? What you doing? WYA. What do they say? WYA. Girl. I'm so sorry. Why don't you love me? Why don't you love me? Tell me, baby, why don't you love me when I make me so damn easy to love? Girl, get off the phone with him and call the next nigga on the roster. Shit. Girl, stop playing with me. Okay, let me go to one more site and then we done. Oh, girl, we got 3 minutes. Luigi Maggioni returns to court as defense fights to erase key evidence. He's a nice looking dude. Coco Jones secures Super Bowl 2026 bag, set to open pregame show with Lift Every Voice and Sing. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven. Yes, I use that. But I tell you, that sends chills through my spine. I can call that the Black National Anthem. That's a Black National Anthem. Lift every voice. That's what we say. Is that what y'all say? Lift every voice is a Black National Anthem. Congratulations to her. That's exposure for her, because they don't pay them to perform at the Super Bowl. It's supposed to be exposure. R&B powerhouse Coco Jones has officially been tapped to kick off Super Bowl 2026 with a performance of Lift Every Voice and Sing during the pregame show, and the internet is absolutely here for it. Coco has been on the glow up marathon these last few years. A Grammy nominated star is sitting on 8 nominations, including a 2026 Best R&B Album nomination for her debut, Why Not More. And let's not forget, she snatched the 2024 Grammy for Best R&B Performance for her now platinum classic, I See You. All reasons why she is a perfect pick for the big gig. Speaking of the lineup, Grammy nominated Charlie Puth. I like him. He's on the national anthem duty. I like his voice. While Brandy Carly is stepping up for America the Beautiful. And then Rock CEOs, Desiree Perez summed it all perfectly. Charlie, Brandy, and Coco are generational talents, and we are excited. This is pretty cool. I love when Black girls are achieving great things. Let's go, Coco. I'm so proud of her and her pretty chocolate self-work, sis. I love you, Coco, and congratulations. Oh, I know her mom is about to be turned up. Heck yeah for Coco. Whoever did the lace needs to be fired. Oh, they didn't eliminate the Black element yet? Good for promotion, but no bag. They don't pay for services like this. Right, because you're getting the exposure. What bag? They don't get paid. Outside of union fees, the promotion will be big enough. As she should with her gorgeous self. Happy for her. She's going to show off. Yeah, these are the kind of, like, when people are accomplishing things like that, that's when I love to hear the girls being like, yes, and do this, girl, and yes, girl. But when it's time for people to get married, I'd be looking like, ew. Shout out to Lucille Ball. Ew. That's where I get that from Lucy. Shout out to Lucille Ball. If you did not grow up watching I Love Lucy, I feel sorry for your mother, baby. That was the best, some good fucking laughs, baby. Lucy and Ethel and Fred, baby. Fred was so ornery and miserable and grumpy. I need to go back and watch some episodes of I Love Lucy. I Love Lucy was good. He was always trying to keep Lucy down. And it was so funny how they had them sleeping in separate beds. And when I was little, I used to be like, how do they sleep in separate beds and have a baby? But if you think about it, it's actually a good idea to have separate beds because the people now, when they're in relationships, they have their sleep numbers. So they have their sleep number mattresses. So one side, because people have the way that they like their bed to feel. And if you partner with somebody, y'all sleeping in the same uncomfortable bed, it has to feel, everybody has a different comfort levels. So it is actually smart that Lucy and Ricky had separate beds. They got it in somehow in one of the beds. They hopped on one of them beds and had little Ricky. Little Ricky. And then Fred and Ethel. I loved it. I Love Lucy. Shout out to I Love Lucy. Shout out to Lucille Ball. She was one of the first women to wear pants on television. She always had her little pedal pushers on. She always looked so cute. Lucy was always dressed so cute. Like, go watch Lucy, just the outfits and everything. Even though and it's crazy how it was in black and white. It was in black and white, y'all. That's crazy. So shout out to Lucy. Yeah, she'd be like, yee, yee. That's how she used to be. All right, y'all. I gotta go. I gotta do some work today. I gotta go watch Married to Medicine. I gotta go watch Real Housewives of Salt Lake City again. And I got some report to get out. Anyways, take care of each other. Protect your energy. Let's get down in the comments. Peace.